The Sims 4 has animations. It has animations for cooking, walking, talking, dancing, and almost all aspects in the game. As a live simulation game, they are crucial to making the game more immersive so players are more invested in them. With no animations, it would just look something like this. Since the game is already so big, they already have 16 expansion packs, 12 game packs, 19 stuff packs, an uncountable number of kids that I even lost track of them sometimes. There's bound to be some leftovers or traces of unused content when developing the game, and this includes unused animations. Hello guys, this is Abi aka onlyabidoang, and today we'll be exploring animations within the game that remain present but are never utilized in any features or interactions. These unused animations are probably a result of scrapped features, updated content that rendered them obsolete, prototypes, or perhaps they are simply for testing purposes. To accomplish this, I utilize a mod called Andrew's Pose Player, which, in addition to playing custom poses made by others, can also play existing animations in the game by manually entering their respective codes. And how do I get these codes, you say? Well, with the help of the Pancake One, a fellow Sims 4 modder whose mods you might already be familiar with, I can get a list of all the existing animation codes extracted straight from the game by him. Go give his mods a try, he's a very talented modder. I also got some help and information from him regarding unused animations when making his video since he's very knowledgeable when it comes to Sims animations. Oh, and if you want to take a look at this list, I already provided a download link to the text file in the video's description. First thing that I want to show you is this animation titled CASP trait Never Nude. The Never Nude trait was introduced back in The Sims 3 but it never made it into The Sims 4, yet for some reason the animation for it is still in the game. Based on the name, it seems to be the animation that should have been played when you select the trait in Create a Sim. This might be because the trait was initially planned in the game but was scrapped while in the middle of the game's development. There's also this interesting animation code mentioning doorbells. In The Sims 4, there are no doorbells since Sims will knock on the door instead, but with this animation in the game, it can be assumed that it was planned before. But as I try to play this animation in the game, prepare to be disappointed because the Sim will just stand still, though their fingers will move a bit. There's also a child version of this animation that looks almost the same, but this time both of their arms move a bit. I guess this feature was scrapped much earlier in the game's development, even before the animations were properly made. If you still want doorbells in the game, there's this smart doorbell mod made by Lot51 that adds in doorbells you can use. Alright, this next one is actually a big list of proper animations not included in the game. These animation names have the word bed intimate and then each are named with specific romantic interactions like hold hands, give massage, kiss, etc. Unlike in the previous games, Sims in The Sims 4 weren't able to relax on the bed until after March 2021, when an update was released that allowed Sims to relax on the bed. Even then, you cannot do anything while relaxing in a bed, not read a book, talk, daydream, or engage in romantic interactions, unlike in the previous Sims games where all of these are possible. So the fact that the animations for intimate bed interactions are in the game but are never utilized is pretty strange. Anyway, these animations consist of succeeding and failing bed romantic interactions, which are kissing, massaging even though it looks broken since they give themselves a massage instead, holding hands, which again is a bit broken so they touch each of their own hands, stretching their arms to make a move, making out, having a pillow talk, snuggling, and yeah, please ignore his distorted hands right here, tickling, where again he tickles himself here instead, and whispering secrets to their partner's ear. There's this breathing animation which, not sure how to describe it. There are also several transitional animations where they transition from being close together on the bed to standing, sleeping, napping, sitting, relaxing, or woohooing. And the same goes for the transitions of the other way around. Anyway, most of these animations are pretty similar to their sitting counterparts, so I guess the animations were mass converted from them since there are so many. I'm not sure whether they will implement this in the game properly in the future, but I really hope so. However, there's this mod called Pillow Talk After Woohoo, originally made by the modder Shimrod but then updated by the modder Landgrabbed, where it doesn't add these new bed interactions, but instead makes it so that after woohooing, Sims can play one of these animations, which is pretty adorable. Still talking about romance, this set of animations are also not used at all in the game. The animations are part of the romantic interactions, but it starts with the line C to C, meaning an interaction from children to children, and it consists of several interactions. Child sims cannot develop any romantic feelings in the game, so this means that the feature where children can develop crushes or perform romance interactions to other child sims was meant to be implemented at some point, but like some of the animations before, I suppose it was scrapped in the final version of the game. First is the animation of them bragging and reacting to it, also the failed version of it, this harumph animation, which I think were supposed to be like a negative romance interactions or something, like breaking up, this sweet talking or flirting animation, which also have a failed version, and this going steady animation, which includes this successful giddy reaction, the failed reaction, and the other one where they take a picture together right after asking. I think it was probably supposed to be like a puppy love or crushes kind of relationship since there were only a few interactions here. There are also seeded versions of the bragging and harumph animations. Additionally, there's this one mod by Little Miss Sam called First Love that lets child sims develop crushes with each other, which I think takes advantage of these unused animations, so if you want it to be a feature, this can be an option. Besides romantic animations for child sims, when I was working on a video, a Twitter user by the username of Lil Nerdysimmer found out that there's this apply lipstick animation for child sims that seems to also be left unused. When played, the sim will open the lipstick cap, use it on their lips, and smack their lips. There's also the seeded version of the same animation. Adult sims usually use this animation when they freshen up using this vanity mirror. Sure, child sims can also play with makeup using the same mirror, but the applying lipstick animation is pretty different from the unused one that we've seen. It might have something to do with the scrap romantic interactions for child sims that we've talked about before. I also found a pair of unused animations when it comes to chess. All of these chess animations are marked with the seeded line, meaning that these animations are only available to seeding sims. But strangely, there are two chess animations that don't have the seeded line, which are the start neutral and stop neutral chess animations. They perform this animation while standing, and you can also hear chess pieces sound effect when it's played. The seeded versions of these animations are already used when a sim starts a game of chess and tidies the pieces up. It's pretty strange to have this, since sims cannot even interact with the chess table if there are no chairs, so I'm not sure why the animations are there in the first place. When I was looking through some of the animation codes, I also noticed these animations with the name computer stand. I first thought that this must be another set of unused animations, because you cannot use computers by standing in this game. But then I realized that these animations were actually used on non-computer items like the chemical analyzer, X-ray, hospital treadmill, invention constructor, and other similar stuff from packs, because they have this keyboard-like part sims use. Though after double-checking the game files, seems that out of all these animations, there are two computer stand animations here that were not used by any objects in the game, which are the look around hands up all reaction animation and shake head angry reaction animation. They could probably be a leftover of the converted sitting computer animation, but they have no relevant use for it on these current objects. I'm not sure if they're gonna be used at one point in the future though. This next one was pretty much implemented in the base game at one point, but got removed because of changes in that particular feature, one of which is the animation where a baby ages up to children. Before the addition of toddlers back in 2017, there were not toddlers, so babies would immediately age up to the child stage. There are 3 stages of these animations. First is when it's still a baby, and yeah, now you have to also witness this cursed trash baby animation, so I'm not the only one here. You can also hear the age up jingle when it's played. The second stage is when the child freezes in the air in a fetal position. The third stage is when they finally age up into a child. Additionally, there's also this other age up animation that's not used anymore since the addition of infants on March 2023, a new life stage between newborn babies and toddlers. Because of that, the aging up animation from babies to toddlers are not used anymore. Like before, there are 3 stages of this animation. The first part is the same, though the baby is not as deformed as before. The second part also features this floating fetal position, and the third part has 2 versions. The first is when they age up by the help of older sims, and since there are no adults carrying them here, the animation will appear broken. If they age up on their own, this other version will play instead where they will try to stand up by themselves, which looks pretty sad. I think this version was used when adult sims forgot to age them up directly. Let's take a look at other packs now, because they also have their own unused animations, starting from the Sims 4 Get Together. 2 animations I found are the sending and receiving breakup text animations. Here's the animation of sending the breakup text where they will type angrily, and here's when they're supposed to receive the breakup text. That guy looks so devastated, man. I hope he'll move on soon. I don't think sending breakup texts are a feature in the game since you can only break up face to face, so it's probably another scrap feature. These animations don't seem to have any voices or sound effects either since it's probably unfinished. There's also the seeded version of these animations. Another animation from Get Together is called Test Reconciler Junk. There are two animations for that, but both basically play the exact same animation. When played, the sim will act scared and become anxious. It seems kinda familiar though, like a reaction to something or when feeling certain emotion, but I don't think it's ever used in a way. Maybe it was meant for an unused trait, or maybe it was a test animation back when the game is in development, I don't know. Now we get to the controversial side of the game, and that is The Sims 4 Star Wars Journey to Batuu game pack. Even though that pack has the Sims community raising their pitchforks, one of the good things from this pack are the lightsaber duel animations, and as much as I hate the pack in general, I have to admit that the way they fight with each other using the lightsabers are pretty intense and fun to watch. I never get bored when watching them do this because they sometimes go back and forth and they also switch positions. Anyway, it turns out that there are actually prototype animations of these lightsaber fights that's not used by the game. And before trying out these animations, I'm gonna have my Sims equip this lightsaber accessory CC first since we won't be able to use the regular lightsaber in the game for this case. Link to this CC will be in the video's description. There are 8 pairs of the prototype lightsaber animation fight in total. First is the Get In animation, which may probably supposed to be the starting animation, and then the soft posture animation, which may be the idle animation. After that is the sparring animations, which consist of several animations. There's this first loop, second loop where they advance a bit, third loop where they switch sides, and fourth loop where they also advance but in reverse. And yeah, you can tell that this really is a prototype animation if we compare it to the final product because they are very choppy. Finally, we get to the failure and success finisher animation. Both are pretty much the same depending on who's the winner and the loser. These animations were probably made to test the lightsaber feature early in the pack's development, but the devs may forget to remove them from the game or something like that. Let's go back to the base game now. There's this other unused animation here called Test Animation Portal. When played, the sim will perform a freaking front flip out of nowhere and then land on their feet. I'm not sure what they're using this animation for. The animation is a bit choppy, so it's probably not intended to be used for features. Maybe it's just another random test animation, or maybe it was planned to be an animation when the sim is entering some kind of a portal in a way? I don't know, I have no clue with this one either. Then there's this other supposedly test animation called Create a Sim Range of Motion. This animation is available for children, toddlers, and infants only, where they will perform certain body positions. It's a pretty long animation, and they first appeared to be the exact same for all the 3 versions where they perform basic small movements for each of their body parts. I think this was used for development purposes, likely by the game's animators as a reference when creating the Sims' joint movements, making them appear more realistic and ensuring they don't exceed human limitations, or perhaps by the game's 3D modelers to verify that the Sims' 3D mesh or outfits they created don't deform excessively during specific movements, especially when the game or a pack is in development. Anyway, the animation goes pretty normal at first, but right in the middle of it, something strange will start to happen. Like the toddler's arm will begin to twist for some reason, and at the very end, it all goes crazy for infants and toddlers, while the child version is still chilling there. Strangely, the adult version of this animation was not available in the game anymore because I remembered testing it a long time ago and it's still there, but I haven't recorded it at that time. This is probably the only footage to the animation that I found online showcasing the adult version. There's also this other weird animation called Alert Missing Age. When performed, the sim will raise both of their hands and shake their heads repeatedly. Again, I have no idea what's this animation used for. Maybe it's a placeholder animation if there's an error when aging up? I don't know, but it looks like as if the sim is holding the plumb bob if you have it on. There's this set of animations with the name Animtest, but when I try to play all of them in my game, it's just an empty animation and Sims will just freeze in place when it's played. It's probably just another test or placeholder empty animation used when the game is in development. This other weird animation I found is called Sound Test. Again, I'm not sure what's this used for. It's probably when the game is in the testing version, judging by the name, though it does look like as if someone is having a blast in a party though, so let's just give him that. Another weird animation I found is called Stub Seated, where they will sit and move their head in a robotic choppy motion. It's probably just another test or stop animation left in the game. These animations called template oneshot and template used objects are pretty interesting. Even though there are two different codes, they both play the exact same animation. When played, it looks like as if they're using a machine or some sort, using an imaginary handwheel kind of thing. I thought it was used in the cupcake machine factory, but turns out it uses a different animation for that. It's probably used as a template animation or for testing purposes. There's also a seated version for this one. Last but not least, I want to talk about these sets of animations that starts with the word CASP. And they're actually not animations but rather a bunch of static poses. When I searched for it in the game files to check if any feature has ever referenced these poses, I found them being mentioned in this part of the game files called CASP photo booth, which may be what CASP or CASP stands for. At first, I thought it was the photo booth from the High School Years expansion pack, but they have entirely different poses when I checked on it. Additionally, these animations are from the base game and is already in the game even before the pack is out. It turns out that these were used when The Sims 4 was still in the demo phase, which was showcased at the Gamescom 2013 gaming event. It was held a year before the game's release and players can try out the Create a Sim feature there where their creations will be shown in these photo booth pictures in the end. Most of these poses are probably made like this to showcase emotions and how expressive the Sims are now since it's the big new feature in The Sims 4. Also, I found this other set of animations called CASP bombs, where some of them make Sims float in the air in a weird position. It's probably meant to be like a photobomb pose. Additionally, after researching about it further, turns out that some of these are somewhat reused when Sims take photo using the camera, but the new versions are under a different yet similar animation code. Both versions look almost the same but with some small differences, like a slight change in the body position, hand position, facial expressions, etc. So those are some animations in The Sims 4 that are still in the game but were never used as a feature. In the end, only the game's developers know the actual use of them. Clearly, these aren't all of the unused animations. I just happened to find some that piques my interest and are worth discussing. So, what do you think of these animations? Do you have some insights, theories, or speculations about them? Feel free to let us know in the comments down below. You can also check the animation code list in the description if you want to check them out yourself. Thank you so much guys for watching this video. I hope that you like them, and if you do, feel free to subscribe to my channel for more Sims contents like this. See you later!